right, we are live here on the internet. Welcome everybody joining us from all around the world. Round 4, as you can see in the background there, lovely location we are in today. This is Okuibuki Motor Park, otherwise known as Okuibuki Ski Resort. Isn't it, Ryan Sage? Hello, my name is Alexi Smith. I'm your commentator for today's competition. I'm here with Ryan Sage. He's over from the United States Series. Welcome, Ryan, to Japan once again.
Yeah, happy to be here. Round number 4, quickly deep into the 2017 season. An exciting championship in line here, and a very unique event that was added last year and has become kind of a fan favorite amongst not only people that come out, but people that watch all around the world on the live stream. So really excited to get things kicked underway here. Yeah, very unique track, this one. Like I said before, this is normally a ski resort, and what the guys here have done is use basically a combination of the access road up to the chairlift and one of the car parks to create what's almost a toge-style course. As you can see, lovely location here. Blue, sunny skies. When we arrived here, well, when I arrived here on Friday for practice, the weather was cold, miserable, wet, heavy rain, wet track. Wasn't a lot of fun. Yesterday, it was a bit cloudy, dried up, but today, beautiful. Lovely blue skies, nice weather. So we are about to begin the top 32 here on the live stream. Just joining us now, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Of course, feel free to spam this link in your social media. Let everyone know that you're watching, that we're live right now. It's a fairly good time for all our fans in the United States to be watching. It's between 4 and 7 p.m. I think in the United States, depending on where you are. So shout out to all the West Coast guys. You probably watch. A lot of you guys are probably watching. A lot of our European guys, it's like about 1 a.m. through to about 4 a.m. in Europe right now. So they're all probably either just staying up from last night or just waking up now to watch. You can see this is the beginning of the top 32. So we're going to be running the top 32 all the way through. Starting with this, our first battle with our first place qualifier, as you saw, Andrew Gray up against James Tang, who just squeaked his way into top 32. Of course, this is a good time to point out that our regular driver, by run, did not make it over for this competition here this weekend. We have a full field of top 32, no by runs whatsoever. So we did have more than 32 drivers entering yesterday, and despite 3 cars being scratched, we still have an entire field. All right, here we go. Let's begin round 4, the 2017 series. Formula Drift. Andrew Gray versus James Tang. Andrew Gray's leading. It's already a very good start for Andrew Gray. Nice clean run from Andrew Gray. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. This is like qualifying run. Nice line there from Andrew Gray. James Tang falling apart after the second out of zone. It's a bit of a shame for James Tang. Well, let's take a look at this here on the replay one more time. Andrew Gray, known for his consistency. We saw him go 3-1 more times at Ebisu against Mad Mike, only to get the win. So he is not a driver that makes a lot of mistakes. You can see Tang on the inside here has to cut the line in order to gain proximity. He's trying to close the door, but watch Andrew, just consistent, goes very deep into this second outer zone. Not a lot of drivers were doing that. And then James right here falters a little bit. He's not able to keep that momentum, straightens out, loses a few positions there to Andrew, and Andrew just accelerates through that finish line. And you can see James nearly straightens out before the finish line as well. So it's going to be a tall order on run number 2 for James. He'll now take the lead as Andrew Gray will chase him down.
It's not the position that James Tang wants to be in. This car, of course, the 130i BMW, powered by a 2JZ engine. So on paper, should be a very good car to use in this track. Small, lightweight, big power. So, oh wait, we're going to have a false start there. James Tang knocking over 2 of the start pylons. So James will be chucking a U-turn there. Sorry, chucking it. He'll be turning around. We said chuck a Yui in Australia.
How do you say U-turn in Japanese? Is there a term for it?
U-turn.
U-turn.
It's exactly the same. Although, well, we just saw that James did a U-turn, Andy did a spin turn.
Right.
Like, you've ever heard any drift guys out there, you hear people talk about the spin turn knob? Like the little, it's a little attachment that you put on your handbrake over the button, which allows you, like, where you take the spring out of a, this is like, you know, literally like level 1 drift mods in a car. You take the spring out of the handbrake, so it doesn't, the ratchet doesn't lock when you pull it up. But obviously you can't, if it doesn't have the spring there, you can't pull the button out. So it's like a little flange-shaped sort of button that slides over. And so you pull the handbrake up and you pop that out like that. And that's known as a spin turn knob, but people think it means it's because you turn the knob to lock it or something. It actually it just means you can do a...
You can physically do a spin
turn. Yeah, that's what it's for.
Yeah, in South Africa, they have drifting, obviously, but they have another sport that's related. They don't call it like...
I've heard of this.
Spinners.
Spinners, yeah. That's insane, that stuff. All right, here we go. Second run now. James Tang leading. Bit of a slow start for him. Very late initiation for James Tang as well, but he's keeping it safe. This is what he needs to do. Big angle from James Tang, but a fairway off the zone. Andrew Gray really close to James Tang. James is actually pulling off a really good run here, albeit a little bit shallow. That is the best run we've seen from James Tang all weekend. But unfortunately, I think you'll find that his line was just a little bit off.
Well, he had a big struggle in his chase run, and for me, it looked like he actually had an incomplete as he wasn't drifting through the finish line. So he really needed to pull out all the stops and hope that Andrew makes a massive mistake here. Andrew played it pretty conservatively, but overall, he kept enough pace with James. You can see, like you said, James, strong performance here. He does miss that first inside clip by a little bit, but Andrew keeping him very, very close. Not door to door, but enough to be able to pull out the win here without too much controversy, as James did what he could do in the lead position, but it was just not enough, and Andrew didn't make mistakes.
Yeah, James Tang, great run from that. I will say that is definitely the best run we've seen from him all weekend, but too little too late as the press super disappears. I think it was pretty obvious what the result there. Okay, 1, 2, 3 in favor of Andrew Gray. Gets the win, as our Japanese commentator says here. He'll be moving on to the top 16 later on today. So Andrew Gray, another step forward to another championship here from the drift. Bit of a shame there for James Tang. Good run from him right at the end. Really surprised by that run. Looks like the red mist came down and he did what he had to do. Unfortunately, a little bit too late. Good to see drivers like that, James Tang, overseas to enter here today. Okay, next battle now, Tanaka versus Ichiyanagi. This is Semi Tanaka in the lead. Really wide line, Ichiyanagi once again spinning out. I believe Ichiyanagi had issues in that same place yesterday, as Semi Tanaka completes his run without issue. So Ichiyanagi, I do know that both of these guys are locals to Western Japan, and I'm pretty sure they've driven together quite a lot. But unfortunately, it looks like Ichiyanagi followed Semi a little bit too deep into this run and spun out.
Let's see what happens here. You can see Semi, great initiation, gets right back on throttle here, and you can see Ichiyanagi's already shooting wide. He goes too deep into that zone, is not able to hold it, spins out. Now at this point, Tanaka does need to finish the run, being the lead driver. He does that very easily, and he'll have himself a strong advantage going into run number 2 as he will now chase down Ichiyanagi.
Shame there for Ichiyanagi. He was able to hold that line, but it looked really cool. And I do believe, I remember yesterday he spun out there quite a few times. So maybe not quite getting the hang of that entry, which is very steep. I'd like to get down there and sort of work out what the gradient is. I'm not quite sure. What would you say it is? It's steep. It's a ski resort driveway, put it that way. So for those who are not familiar with what it's like to drift into different kinds of corners, you have to throw it, if it's an uphill, you have to throw it in harder and faster than you'd think. in order to get yourself through the corner. This time Ichiyanagi leading, going for broke, going really wide there, trying to do the same thing to Tanaka, but Tanaka not fazed by that. Tanaka right there with him. Ichiyanagi throwing a really big angle, going into the bottom corner of the course. But Tanaka, an absolute pro in the chase position there. I think, Ryan, this is the sort of run we need to show people when you say that, oh, the lead car was going too slow, I couldn't follow them.
Yeah, no, this is a great example. You can see here already from the beginning, Ichiyanagi was a little bit slower coming out of the gate. Tanaka got right up against the back bumper, then backed off a second here. Now he's going to take this inside line in order to maintain proximity and keep the pressure on Ichiyanagi. Ichiyanagi going very slow through this section of the course here, but Tanaka unfazed, manages to get the win here, even while keeping the pressure on and taking some risks in run number 2, as Ichiyanagi spun out on that first run and gave Tanaka a pretty sizable advantage.
It's going to be fairly obvious now. Slide him to the right to Semi Tanaka, Ryan Lantane, Andy Yen, and Robbie Nishida there, our 3 judges. 1, 2, 3. Semi Tanaka knocking out Ichiyanagi and moving on to the top 16. He'll be going up against Andrew Gray in the top 16. You can see there. Yeah, he won. It's an interesting rear window there on Tanaka's car. Looks like he's sort of got all, like literally everyone who's ever helped him with that car, he's got their name on it. Has anyone tried that in FD? Didn't Danny George do that, where he sold a square in his car for a certain amount of money?
Yeah.
On the what do you call it? MX-5.
Like a
Miata?
yeah, like a
crowdfunding.
non-virtual GoFundMe.
Yeah. Good idea. Next run now, Mekua versus Ishikawa. Now Mekua, the Black Knight in this run. His car doesn't look like an FD car, but he's getting the job done. Look how close Ishikawa is. Ishikawa, wow, dangerous line. Collision. Ishikawa coming into contact with Mekua's car. Wow. Parallel drift. That was a dangerous, dangerous strategy there from Ishikawa.
Ishikawa very much the aggressor here, but Mekua lays down a solid lead run, and you'll see the difference here. Watch Mekua, great initiation, gets right into that zone. Ishikawa right on his door here, but great job out front by Mekua, who goes very deep into that second outer zone. Now Ishikawa is going to cut the line to take away proximity. He should have stayed deep with Mekua in order to match his line and angle. And then right here, he's going to pay a little bit of a price for it as he just touches the left front wheel of Mekua, and thankfully it doesn't look like anything other than superficial damage, but we'll have to have the officials take a look at those vehicles. And for Mekua, he didn't spin out, so there's not going to be too much of a deduction to Ishikawa other than the fact that he did make contact with him, but they'll be judging the run as it happened. So a lot of times when we see contact, we see the other driver spin out, then you get more fault to the driver that actually made the contact or was at fault for the contact. In this case, pretty clean overall, so a good run here to start off.
So obviously no problem there, getting straight back into it. This time Ishikawa leading. What will Mekua do this time? Wow, look at the throw there from Mekua in the chase position. Ishikawa shedding his rear bumper. Look at the angle there from Ishikawa. The Mekua right there with him. Maybe a bit more proximity would be good. Oh, this is going to be an interesting result from this run. Ishikawa leaving Mekua behind. Was that Mekua just playing it safe, or could he not actually catch up?
Yeah, I mean,
with Ishikawa?
I think if his spotter, was talking to him in a strategic way, he would have said, you still need to keep proximity here, because even though Ishikawa was cutting the line to gain proximity, visually it just looks more dominant. But you can see out here out front, Ishikawa doesn't necessarily go as deep into that second outer zone, but at the same time, Mekua is a little bit further back. He's trying to match that line and angle, but he's not matching the proximity. So does that offset the first run? It may not, but obviously what you'd like to see from Mekua is a bit more proximity there on that run number 2.
Yeah, he definitely had a chance to absolutely dominate that run. But unfortunately, just sort of hovering back there, not really being an aggressive driver. We'll see what the judges have to say about that. So Mekua and Ishikawa down there waiting for a result. The judges, yeah, that was an interesting run. So, okay, we have a result, so we're not going to be going one more time. Oh, sorry, no, that's when we find out if we're going to do one more time. So we will be doing one more time. 1, 2, and Robbie Nishida in favor of Mekua. That was the two-tone colored, the red and blue S15. So a very close decision there. We'll be running them one more time. So there you go, as we called it. Mekua, if he was just a bit more aggressive in that chase run, he probably could have taken that out. So we'll be seeing them do their one more time run after this run here between Yamada and Hiroshima. There you go. On the left of screen, Kenji Yamada, otherwise known as Jama Ken, that's his nickname. Akihiko Hiroshima there on the right of screen. Hiroshima's car, very cool looking car. So both these cars. Now, who says that Formula Drift cars don't look cool? Look at these. Very, very sort of the nice balance between street and competition style. S15, Sylvia's. Right, here we go. Yamada on the left. The magenta, I guess maroon S15, followed by Hiroshima in the bright orange S15. It's a great lead run so far from Yamada, nice and deep into that zone. Throwing it a bit too hard. Bit of a straighten there from the lead car, Yamada. That is going to really make his score go down a bit compared to the chase car Hiroshima. But Hiroshima falling behind a bit too. That was a really messy run from both these guys.
Well, a big opportunity here for Hiroshima because, as you mentioned, there was a big straightening coming up the hill into inside clip number 1. Let's take a look at it again here. Yamada gets out of the gate really cleanly here. Nice early initiation, great rate to angle. Watch as he makes this adjustment here. He's going to put big angle in the car, and then he realizes I'm not on the right line. He has to make an adjustment there. Now, Hiroshima at this point should be attacking. He should be trying to close the door and really put some pressure on Yamada, but he allows him a little bit of space coming down the hill and then falls off there towards the end. But because you have that big mistake by Yamada, as long as Hiroshima has a clean lead run, he does give himself an opportunity to put the bar in his favor.
Yeah, just that uphill you can see there. It's really obvious on this camera angle, which we just saw, the road compared to the retaining wall for the pit area. It's about a 15-degree angle, that. It's a very steep run up, which means that when you throw the car into the first corner, it does slow down quite a lot, which is what happened to Yamada there. Look at this time, Hiroshima leading. Yamada right on his tail. Nice close proximity there on the entry for the chase car. Yamada, watch the flick back here. Watch Yamada tuck it in here. Here he goes, winding in the lead car. Hiroshima giving him a bit of distance there and tucking in once again. That's a great chase run there for the maroon-colored S15 of Yamada, or Jamaken.
Yeah, and it's important to note the way the judges are processing this is they take a look at both lead runs, judge those, both chase runs, judge those, and then who did best overall. Now, as you mentioned, Yamada does do a really good job here in the chase position. He could have been a little bit deeper in outside zone number 1, but he's really playing the proximity game here. He's trying to make an impactful ploy against Hiroshima. Right here he makes a little bit of a straightening.
Yes,
now that may have an impact because that mistake out front in the lead position was pretty sizable, and Hiroshima didn't really make too many mistakes in his lead run. So that might put the needle in Hiroshima's direction, but we'll have to go to the judges to see. I could also imagine that there's a potential one more time in there as well.
I think you could be right. I think that straight we just saw there, I didn't see it because I was watching the cars live, and where Jamaken straightened up was directly behind our broadcast monitor. Right. I didn't spot it. So yeah, that could actually make a big difference. So they're pulling up to the start line. Left of screen, Yamada. Right of screen, Hiroshima. Of course, we do have another driver in the series, Hirojima. He's not out here this weekend. That's a different guy. Hirojima is the guy who drives the blue D-Max S15. And unfortunately, we don't have the D-Max S15s here this weekend. Yokoi pulling out on Friday due to mechanical issues. And Hirojima not driving this weekend. But just never mind that. We still have a full field of top 32 drivers. No bye runs here today. So here comes the result. One more time. All we need is one more. So there you go, one more times. We're going to be running this again. Hiroshima versus Yamada. So obviously that mistake there from Yamada factoring in on that chase run, and also that big straighten on the lead run for Yamada too. So Yamada just needs to up his consistency a little bit more and not straighten out. So that's one more times we'll be seeing again. One Mekua Ishikawa in the S14s and Yamada Hiroshima in the S15s. The start line now. Our next drivers. Oh, is Kusaba not coming out? Our next battle is meant to be between Baki Kusaba and Yamamoto, we see there. He's gained the nickname on the internet, Bootleg Han, due to the fact the car looks like a bootleg version of the RX-7 from Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. We did see Baki towed off the track. I'm just trying to see where his pit is. That's his pit over there. And I think the car is still there. I think I can just barely see the car in the pits. So it looks like we may have a retirement from Kusaba, because he has to be out there right now to do his run. This is if he gets called, he has to drive.
All right, I'm hearing a little bit of information over the radio. Let me give you an update. It looks like that Kusaba is out.
Right.
It's a bye run.
Oh, no.
And that the next battle between Oshiro and Yamashita is called a competition timeout.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at right now.
As the lovely sound of rotaries fills the air here at Okuibuki, that is a solo run there for Yamamoto in the RX-7. He'll be moving on to the top 16.
Which is a big bummer because Kusaba actually qualified number 4, so he was
right.
If we go off the statistics of this championship, the higher qualified drivers tend to do better in competition.
So lucky result there for Yamamoto. So going off 1 more times, straight into a bye run, and then a competition timeout being called in this next battle between Oshiro and Yamashita. So Yoshiro is the guy who drives the big Crown, the yellow and green colored car, and Yamashita is Champ Yamashita, who drives the Team Weld JZX100, and he has called a competition timeout. I don't know about in America. Some people, it's a bit old school, but in Australia, the rotary is called the Hiroshima Screamer.
Reason?
Because Mazda's headquarters is in Hiroshima, and rotaries scream.
Hey, I'm good with that. No problem. Good connection.
There you go, the Hiroshima Screamers.
Hi, go Screamer.
There goes Bootleg Han back to, sorry, I'll stop that. Yamamoto back to the pits. He'll be moving on to the top 16. He'll be going up against the winner of the next battle, which was meant to be Oshiro and Yamashita. That has been delayed due to Yamashita calling a competition timeout. So that means our next battle will be the one coming up now. Taguchi versus Kamiya. So as you can see, lovely location here. If you're just joining us now on the live stream for Formula Drift Japan, welcome to round 4. We are here today at Okuibuki Motor Park in Shiga Prefecture. Shiga is sort of halfway between Nagoya and Osaka, up near Lake Biwako, which is the largest, I believe, the largest freshwater lake in Japan. So around this area, a lot of fishing. Fishing is very popular in this area.
Oh yeah, I did see some people flying.
You saw them? Yeah.
Way up.
Yeah, the town just down the road here is famous for a certain type of river fish. I forget the Japanese name for it. Well, I forget the name for it, period.
Like a trout or something?
No, they're quite small. The river fish in Japan are not generally big like salmon or trout or things like that. They're actually they're usually about the length of your hand, sort of thing. What's that about?
6 inches?
6 or 7 inches, yeah. And usually you catch quite a few of them. And the best way to cook them is, quite a few of them you actually just cook them like just straight. You don't even gut them. Just run a skewer through them, sort of like an S shape. You know what I mean? Like you sort of through the head and then back through the body again, and then you just grill them and eat them off the stick. Problem. Lovely. Next battle now, Mekua versus Ishikawa. This is our one more time battle. This time Mekua leading. Now Mekua, this S15, it doesn't look like much, but it performs, as you can see. But Ishikawa once again taking that dangerous line. Parallel. Wow, look at that chase run there from Ishikawa. He doesn't learn, does he? He didn't back off at all from that first run.
And he nearly straightened out before the yellow finish line, so we'll have to see how the judges take a look at that. But again,
we need to be careful about that, don't we?
Very similar run from the first battle. Good initiation here by Mekua. Fills that zone very well. Now, again, Ishikawa takes that inside line, especially when we get here to outer zone number 2. Meanwhile, Mekua is very deep into that zone. You can see he's almost superseding the front wheels. Now, it's a great tactic for proximity, but it's going to go against him if Mekua is able to have proximity with the better line in his run. So now they'll switch things up. Ishikawa will go to the chase, and Mekua will go to the lead position.
Did he straighten out there?
Very close.
Very close, yeah, if not right after the finish line. That interesting tactic there. Very cool to watch as well. Just that parallel style of chase runs. Very cool to watch if he can pull it off. So once again, it doesn't look like Ishikawa changed his strats from the first run. It was just get parallel and go hardcore. Ishikawa's car, maybe a little bit more power and grip than Mekua's car, but on this particular track, like we said before, having a lot of power doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to drive well. Getting that power down to the track is the most important thing, and it seems to be very critical on this particular track. It's very difficult to rely on momentum for a lot of this track. So good throttle control is very important. All right, second run now. This time Ishikawa leading. What is Mekua going to do? Okay, he has learned from his first run. Much closer. Great chase run from Mekua S15. This is what he needed to do in the first run. He's got to keep it sideways. Don't straighten up. But still great lead run. Oh, a bit of a wobble there from the chase. Mekua. Ooh, that was a bit messy there towards the end there, Mekua. He had it on the first half.
It very well could come down to that first run with Ishikawa and the finish line, which doesn't seem like a lot when you're watching it, but if you know where that line ends, he did straighten out here. Now, like you said, Mekua has a much better start on his chase run. Pretty much door-to-door action coming up the hill, does a nice job falling through that inside clip, good transition back around. You can see Ishikawa doesn't fully fill that outer zone at the beginning, but right here, Mekua makes a big mistake, comes way too tight, and then both drivers coming down here just right before that finish line. As we take a second look here from the camera up above.
So this first part of the run, chase driver Mekua doing really well, but it's there. That little wobble there, reinitiation. He's still driving, pull the handbrake just to extend out.
And you can see that Mekua also unwinded a bit early there as well. So this is going to be interesting because if there's 2 zeros, it's going to come down to the lead runs.
Right. So if both of those runs are given zeros, then whoever had the better lead run is going to win. Is that correct?
If both zeros happen in the chase position, then yeah, we come down to the leads.
I see what you're saying. Okay. So we'll see what the result is.
This is run number 1, so the judges want to recall this replay one more time. Let's take a look here from this camera, because this is the one where we're able to see the yellow line. And if you're watching at home, that light pole right there is before the finish line. So you can see Mekua does unwind there.
Yeah. Yeah, we really need to keep these guys baking the tires and keeping it sideways well down the hill. Of course, in Formula Drift, there is a distinct finish line, which is a very important part of the course and can affect the judging quite dramatically, as we've seen in the United States series several times. Is that right? Like in Texas and places like that?
Yeah, for sure. The judges make a very specific finish line. They want you drifting through it, and then there you go again. You can see that was the second run, not the first run.
Right.
And Mekua does unwind a bit early there. If you're watching at home, this light pole that you see in the center of your screen, the finish line is actually further down from that, probably about 15 feet. There's a yellow marker. Now, here's the first run.
Let's watch this run again. This time Mekua leading. So really leaving Ishikawa behind. So great lead run, but watch the chase car.
Again, this is, I think the judges are wanting to see if he unwinds here a bit early, and it looks like he does as well. So maybe a little bit later there, but
is it going to be a double zero for
if
the
it
chase
is, then
runs?
it's going to come down to the lead. So who had the better leads? We'll find out as soon as these scores go up what the judges were thinking.
So no snap decisions here. We're making sure we get the right result. So one judge, one more time. Andy N in favor of Ishikawa. That's the black S14, sorry. And one more time. So, split decision. Andy Yen going for Ishikawa in the black S14. And our other two judges, Lantane and Nishida, going for a one more time. So we're going to be seeing a second one more time between these two guys. I can't say I'm too upset with seeing another one more time between these two guys. Great battle. So another one more time. It's our second one for these guys. Now, we do have a bit of news. Unfortunately, Champ Yamashita in the World JSX 100 has retired. So Oshiro in the crown will be going straight through to the top 16. So that's a little bit unfortunate.
Interesting that both Yamamoto and Oshiro basically did not have to do their top 32 battles to make it in the top 16.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right, next one. This is our one more time. Jamaken versus Hiroshima. Jamaken, much better entry from the lead car this time. Great, perfect out of zone there from the lead car, Yamada. Hiroshima just falling behind a little bit, trying to catch up towards the end. That was a clean lead run there for Yamashita.
Definitely a lot you can learn from...
Yamada.
From Yamada, and it very much has the James Dean, Frederick Osbo type formula here. It's really difficult for a chase driver in their lead run on that second run to match you if you go out and do a solid lead run, a lead run that's going to be really hard to defeat. And Yamada does that pretty much right here. You can see he gets very deep into that second outer zone. He could have done outer zone 1 a little bit better, but he's making it very difficult for Hiroshima to keep pace with him. And now, after being able to do that in his lead, Hiroshima now has the pressure on him to go out and perform an equal or better lead, which if you go down and put a near 100-point lead run down, it's really difficult to overcome that no matter how solid your chase run is. So it's a good way to start off if you're able to lead first and put down one of those strong qualifying runs.
So much better lead run for Yamada this time. Right of screen there. Very Kansai, Western Japan styled car. They're very popular these days. That candy color with the fluorescent edging on them. So Hiroshima this time leading. He needs to better that run. We just saw that lead run. Looks like he's about to do it. Great out of zone there for lead car Hiroshima. But Yamada right there on him. Watch him flick back here. Yamada is going to tuck in right up against the lead car Hiroshima's door. He's going to pull back a little bit here and bake it down the hill. Keep it sideways. There we go. Great chase run there. Is that going to be enough to get him the win?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it might be.
When you look at leads to leads and chases to chases, you have to say that maybe potentially the leads are tied, and Yamada won the chase battle. So, and that would mean for me that he was overall better. Let's take a look here. Hiroshima, pretty good job filling that first outer zone. Maybe a little bit better than Yamada. Nice and tight through this first inside clip. But look at Yamada in the chase position. He's keeping pace with them. He's putting pressure on him in key areas of the course. Falls off for a second right there, but then gets back on it. And then through the finish line here, keeps the pressure on. So great job there by Yamada in the chase position, and not too shabby as a lead driver is Hiroshima, but his chase run I don't think is going to keep pace with Yamada's.
Yeah, I think Yamada just a little bit, just slightly more dominant on both of those runs. So Yamada 1, 2, and 3. Let's make it official. Kenji Yamada making it through to the top 16. That was the sort of magenta colored S15 with the bright yellow highlights on it. Very street style car. He'll be moving on to the top 16. And he'll be going up against the winner of the battle between Mekua and Ishikawa, which we've still got one more time to run. And so this is our next run here. This is our solo run for Oshiro. So solo run for him. Unfortunately, Yamashita pulling out at the last minute. Good chance for him to... Quick question, Ryan.
Yes.
This is a solo run, right? He's not going to get a 0, is he?
He just needs to show that the vehicle can function. So okay. He should make a drifting pass, but it's a non-judged pass.
Okay. So just prove mechanically that the car is working. Because the other driver retired mechanically. So
correct.
Obviously, if he's like, well, my car's fine,
yep,
and it's not, then okay.
He does need to show that the vehicle can leave the line and do a non-judged lap.
Okay. There you go. Oshiro moving on. He'll be going up against Yamamoto in the RX-7. So both of these guys, our next battle between those two guys, Yamamoto and Oshiro, both of them getting a bye run through. So we'll see which one of their luck holds up into the next battle. So we're getting ready for our next battle now between Taguchi and Kamiya. See there, Taguchi, Up Garage, sponsored S15 Silver. He actually works at Up Garage, believe it or not, as I always mention. I actually crashed into him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you want to hit
at Ebisu. Yeah, well, it was at Ebisu Circuit. It was at the Drift Matsuri. I saw him out. He was in his street car. He's got a personal JSX 100 Chaser, I think it was. And he was driving around with a friend of his. And being Matsuri, it's all about fun. I thought, oh, I'll go out. Taguchi's an FD driver. I can trust him. It was wet though, and the guy who was in front of him sort of did a half spin. Taguchi spun out, and I spun out too and smacked into the front end of his car, broke his front suspension. Yeah. We'll see how he does here today though. So very smooth entry there for Taguchi. Chased by Kamiya in the R32 RB26 powered car. So Taguchi's lead run, a different strat. seems to be doing everything he can to keep his speed up very high. Now that entry, I've got to say, it didn't look very cool. There's a bit of a sort of a straight line handbrake pull. It's a bit different to what we've seen the other guys do.
Well, you can see, I mean, part of what his strategy seems to be is to really use the power advantage of his vehicle and get a huge gap on Kamiya, which he does here. Now he is following the protocol that is required of the lead driver. He is filling all the zones. He's not cutting the line at all, but he's still maintaining a very solid gap to Kamiya, and that's going to put him in a strong position here for run number 2. But one thing to be weary of if you have an underpowered or slower vehicle in front of you is just getting your timing right, making sure that you don't get too close to the point to where you have to lose angle. So Taguchi will have to bear that in mind as he goes into his chase run. But certainly right now he's done what he needed to do in the lead position.
Yeah, Taguchi's car definitely one of the best suited cars to this track. S15 SR20 powered. It's a Tomei engine, Tomei build. Very responsive, lightweight car. So very suited for this particular track. As we can tell, a lot of speed from him. Compare that to Kamiya in the R32 in the front. Bit of a heavier car. But we'll see what he can do in the lead run.
Nice.
Taguchi already there with him. So Kamiya switches back into the outer zone. Kamiya struggling a little bit there to keep the car's momentum going. Taguchi keeping the lead car at a consistent, clean distance. It was a fairly surgical result there for the chase car Taguchi.
Well, certainly got to give credit it's due here for Kamiya. This is a pretty solid lead run, but unfortunately for Kamiya, Taguchi just did not make many mistakes, and he did not let Kamiya get away. You can see Kamiya fills that first outer zone really well. Could have done better here on the second outer zone. He cuts it a little bit tight, gets into the latter part of the zone, but Taguchi stays with him here, keeps the pressure on, and does not let him run away. So a good lead run for Kamiya, but Taguchi with his solid lead and at least pressure points at moments in the chase run, I think that's going to be enough to give him a win.
Yeah, it didn't look like that Taguchi was struggling at all. Very comfortable in both of those runs. So Taguchi in the yellow up garage S15 Sylvia. 1, 2, 3. Fairly simple decision, it seems, for the judges. Gets the win. Maybe you can hear the Japanese commentator saying the same thing. So gets the win. Taguchi moving on to the top 16 later on today. We are getting close to halfway through the top 16 here for round 4 of Formula Drift Japan.
32.
32. Did I say 16? I'm sorry.
Just in case you're joining the broadcast.
Just as hey everyone, thanks for being here with us for the top 32. This is our next battle. This is Jin Hirino versus Yamada. Now Jin Hirino, professional racing car driver, very nicely presented car, going wide out to the wall. Yamada catching up slowly to the lead car, Jin Hirino. Yamada falling back there, a bit of a stall for him. Interesting run there between Hirino and Yamada.
Very early entry here from Moreno. Let's watch him as he comes through the chicane. Big acceleration here. Very early initiation, way before the third standing cone.
Yeah.
Gets right back on throttle, fills that latter part of that outer zone, very close to the wall there, the cushion wall. Nice transition back around, gets the second outer zone, but comes out a little bit early here. Yamada in the chase position, holding ground as best he can, has a little bit of a hiccup there, but Moreno out front looking pretty solid here, so we know what Yamada needs to do in his lead run as they switch things up in chase positions.
So many great battles here so far in the top 32. Now, the thing about Hirino, he's actually a professional racing car driver, and he approaches drifting from a racing car driver's point of view. It's very interesting to talk to him. He's not the sort of guy who progresses sort of linearly. He'll come in, he'll screw up a lot in practicing, make a lot of mistakes, and then all of a sudden pull out really good runs. He seems to be able to construct the drifting in his head without having to actually drive. The second one now, this time Yamada leading. Moreno, very good lead run for him to see what he does in the chase. He needs to catch up a bit to the lead cat Yamada. Moreno sort of stalling a little bit there. Very stout lead run there for Yamada in the S14.
Well, we've seen quite a few drivers come out and put down a solid lead run as the first driver out of the gate, and then just not able to close the door on run number 2. Yeah. Here we go as Moreno is in the chase position. Yamada in the lead. Gets a good jump. Moreno keeping pace with him so far, but as we get into this initiation here, you can see right back on throttle. Doesn't fill the zone as well as Moreno did, but Moreno makes a little bit of a mistake getting kind of choked up there on that first inside clip. Much better second outer zone for Yamada. Moreno takes that shallower line, and he's not able to close the door on the proximity side of things, so that risk and that mistake doesn't necessarily pay off for him. So I have to imagine that we're going to see another potential one more time here.
It could happen with this run. Some people are saying, what's that thing in the background? Yeah, there is actually a hot air balloon there in the background here. Comparing those runs, Moreno had a great lead run compared to Yamada, but Yamada's chase was a fair bit better than Moreno's chase. I don't know if it could. It's just barely, to me, it's just barely more than a one more time. I would definitely be happy seeing that one more time run in this case. Overall, I think just because of Moreno's very aggressive lead run, and it just looked cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to give it to him, but I would definitely be happy seeing it one more time because his chase run was not as aggressive as his lead run at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be unanimous either which way.
But we might see one of those two one more times and one judge in favor. So once Yamada, this is the black S14 on left of screen. And one more time, so Ryan Lantane wants a win to Yamada. Whoa, and then we got another split decision to Yamada. He's in the black S14 we just saw there. So Yamada getting the win. That's the car in the front, sorry, in the rear of screen, you can see there. The car in front of screen, Moreno. Losing, unfortunately for him. So obviously the mistakes that Moreno made in his chase run, and also the couple of mistakes he did make in the lead, stacking up compared to Yamada. So Yamada will be going through to the top 16 up against Taguchi. That's a shame for Moreno. Comes our next run. We are halfway through the top 32. Yanagita versus Taka. So yeah, Yanagita, this is the guy who could potentially cause an upset here today. Flicks it back. Great run so far from both these guys. But Taka falling back. Yanagita pulling away from him. Wow, look at that. You can just see there the massive difference over the finish line down the hill.
Well, that was a great lead run by Yanagita, and you can see Taka tries to get out a bit early there, knowing that Yanagita is going to pull away. Huge initiation, fills this zone just beautifully. Great arc to that first inside clip. Watch, early into the second outer zone, stays in it here. You can see some separation. Could have gotten out to this third outer zone a little bit better, but a huge gap here being established. And then as they head down the hill here, you can see it's still manifesting itself. So for Yanagita, a good start here on the second half of our top 32 battles.
How is he so good? We're seeing a lot of this now as drifting is becoming more and more popular around the world. All these kids who are just so ridiculously good out of the box.
I can't tell you. I mean, I think it's like any athlete. You know, there's some people that just gravitate towards it, that get it, that understand the physics and everything behind driving a vehicle and putting the car in the right place.
Yeah, well, one of those kids is obviously Yanagita. This time, Taka leading, Yanagita following. Oh, big wobble there from the lead car, Taka. Just going to give Yanagita a chance to catch up with him. Now watch this. Watch after this outer zone. Watch the chase car here. Watch him reel in the lead car. There he goes. Perfect. There you go. That's exactly what he needed to do. Great chase run there from Yanagita. Good strategy from there. Getting a bit shaken at the start where Taka sort of wobbled a little bit.
Yeah, you can,
the entry here.
You can see here that Taka tries to get a good jump out of the gate. He pulls some angle out of the car. The front end kind of washes out a little bit. Yanagita making sure that he doesn't press too hard. He knows he's got a solid lead run, but he's going to want to keep as much proximity as he can without putting his vehicle in risk. And he does a great job here towards the latter part of the course to really tighten it up towards the end there, as leaving the lasting memory in the judges' minds.
Yeah, good strategies there from Yanagita. Not only is he great at drifting, he's got good sense for battles. So Taka left the screen in the white S15. Kanta Yanagita, look how young he is. 1, 2, 3 in favor of Kanta Yanagita. This is the guy who could cause an upset here today. He's almost done it before. He almost did it at Suzuka. And he's one step further forward to doing it this weekend through to the top 16 at Yanagita. And that is a very green car. I'm sure it's showing up as very green on the live stream, but it is also extremely green in real life. Speaking of cars that stand out on TV, these are probably the two that don't the most out of this field. Mekua, two-tone S15. Ishikawa, the black S14. Here we go. So one more time between these two. Our second one more time. Looking pretty good so far. Now this is always where Ishikawa gets really aggressive. Watch if he changes his straps this time. Yes, he has. He's staying back a bit. Whoa, big understeer again. What is he doing in that part of the track? That's what makes him, that's what causes him to come undone on the previous runs. He did it again.
Yeah, a big mistake there towards the end for Ishikawa. Consistency improving for Mekua out front.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. Very aggressive initiation. Gets back on the throttle, fills that zone. So far, so good for both drivers, actually. Nice and tight on that inside clip. Good transition back around. Fills this second outer zone. Ishikawa closing the door here, keeping the pressure on, but as we leave that third outer zone, right here he straightens up, almost brings the car to neutral positioning in the front wheels. And so now an opportunity for Mekua spotter to say, hey, look, he made a mistake in that final turn. Just keep the pressure on, but he does have a mistake, so you've got a decent advantage here.
Yeah, this is a chance for Mekua to decisively win this battle. We go next round between Ishikawa and the lead. Mekua leading. Nice early entry. Both these guys throwing it a bit too hard there. Lead car, Ishikawa. So this is Mekua's chance. Watch him try and reel him in here. He's got to keep the angle up. Mekua, this is your chance. You made a big mistake there. A bit of a straight in there, Mekua. He blew it. He had the chance to decisively win that, and he blew it right at the last second. Are we going to see another one more time between these two?
Well, there was also a big straightening out front by Ishikawa, and that might be enough to clinch it for Mekua. Mekua had a very solid lead run, and like we said, what we've seen is the drivers that come out with solid lead runs just haven't been able to close it in a lot of circumstances here, but a good initiation by Ishikawa. You can see right there almost some contact. Back a ways is Mekua. Nice job by Ishikawa in the second outer zone, but watch him right here as he transitions right there.
Yeah.
He has to reinitiate, and so the mistakes that Mekua is making in the chase position I don't think result in an incomplete, but it very well might for Ishikawa, and that might be enough to give him the win.
So Ishikawa, that is. Ishikawa left the screens, the black car. Mekua 1, 2, and 3 in favor of Kojino Mekua in the very, very street style understated S15 two-tone car. Gets the win. He'll be going through finally after those two one more time battles to the top 16. Mekua is also another driver this weekend who could potentially cause an upset. We'll see what happens. All right. So we are halfway through the top 32 here at Formula Drift Japan round 4. We'll be back after a very quick commercial break. Stay with us. Balloon hype here at Formula Drift Japan. Round 4, we are in the top 32. Yes, that is a balloon in the background there. They're doing tethered balloon rides. Ryan, Sage, do you want to go for a balloon ride?
I would love to.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite good here up here in the mountains. Soaring above the mountains like a cloud. Quite nice. But personally, I'd rather be out there on the course drifting with all these guys. I think that'd be a bit more fun. So we are here today at Okuibuki Motor Park, aka Okuibuki Ski Resort. Yes, this is a converted street course here up in the mountains of Shiga Prefecture in Japan. We're about 6 hours drive from Tokyo. It's about an hour and a half, I think, from Nagoya. And about the same from, for about 2 hours from Osaka. I actually met these 3 Norwegian guys who drove up from Tokyo last night.
Oh, wow.
And they're here watching today. All right, next battle we have Miyoshi versus Iizuka. Whoa, big entry there from Iizuka. Collision into the door of Miyoshi. Whoa, big collision there. Look at them. They're not giving up. Finish the run, boys. Yeah. Hey, you can look. This is actually these 2 guys. That doesn't surprise me at all. These 2 guys. That's exactly the character of these 2 guys here, Miyoshi and Iizuka.
Well, let's see if we can decipher what happened here. Both drivers very fast here. Big angle by Miyoshi and Iizuka accelerating forward. That's always a tough one for the judges because you just don't know if Miyoshi was slowing down at too great of a rate or if Iizuka was coming in too fast. I have to think that it's probably going to be on Iizuka because there is an expected slowdown in that area.
Yeah, I think just watching it from the I wasn't watching it from the monitor. I was watching it just from our perspective, which is the same as the judges. It did look like Iizuka was coming in a bit too hot compared to Miyoshi. And, of course, Miyoshi, on the other hand, though, his entry, here we go, you can see that. I mean, that is not a slow entry by Miyoshi by any means. And it wasn't as big a hit as it looked. It was just a bit of an ankle tap, which on that part of the course is more than enough to spin you out. And since it is quite an uphill section there, they did stop very quickly. But look at this. They just kept going. That's so funny. It's almost like they're just at a regular practice day and they have a little collision. Yeah, we're okay. No bent, nothing bent. Let's keep going.
Well, they are giving fault to Iizuka. That is one thing that has to happen after a collision.
Yeah.
We distinguish between collisions and contact in Formula Drift. So a collision is an example of what you saw there where the vehicles stop or there's a major adjustment in the vehicle. Contact would be stuff that we kind of expect to happen in close proximity that may have a very minor impact and that would just be going back to the judge's interpretation of how to actually judge that in the scope of the 2 overall runs. So in this particular case, because there was a collision and there may be damage and the vehicles need to be inspected, and one of the drivers or both of the drivers might need to utilize the competition timeout. In the case of no fault, you don't need to utilize your competition timeout. In the case of fault, you would need to utilize your competition timeout.
So that means that Iizuka, the chase car, which crashed into the lead car, Miyoshi, if he wanted to fix his car, he'd have to call a competition timeout. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then, but the lead car, Miyoshi, the R34 Skyline there on the top of screen, he was crashed into, therefore he does not need to use his competition timeout.
He does not need to, but if it gets into a situation where the damage to the vehicle sustained requires more than 10 minutes, then he would have to call a competition timeout. He would have an additional 5.
Right.
If he could make it in that 5, great. If he couldn't, then he would win the battle, but he would not be able to move on in competition.
I see. So he'd be awarded points for that particular battle, but he would not move on to the next battle, and the person he'd go up against would get a bye run.
Correct. And that's just because, you want to avoid people gaming the system. So if the vehicle, because you could clearly see how you could game the system there.
Right.
By just saying, oh, my car's not fixable, I'm just going to go ahead and get the win and move on.
I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Has that happened? Has people People have tried. I mean, wait. It's motorsport. I'm sure someone's tried that in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you want to think the best of everybody, but, you know, when it comes to winning, sometimes, you know, maybe you move a little bit slower than you need to.
Right, right. I think we see more people, like, moving faster than they should usually, don't we? Like
my experience, generally
Chris
speaking.
Stupps and things like that.
Yeah. My experience, generally speaking, in our series back home is that nobody's really played that game before we did that, but you have to just think about all possibilities. And you want to encourage people to actually try to really fix their vehicle, you know, as quickly as possible for the show. So that's an important aspect.
That's it, isn't it? That's what we're here for. We're here to put on a good show, make it fun to watch. So we can see there, Iizuka just there in the middle of the screen, driving back to his pits, escorted by the support vehicle. So Tetsuya Iha's crown just leaving the pits. So that is our pit area there. So a nice big open pit area for our competitors here this weekend. Very close to the course as well, so not far for everybody to walk so they can watch. So we'll be running the second run between Miyoshi and Iizuka in a little while. So our next battle is going to be between Tomogawa and the Jager. You can see here Tomogawa in the Supra. Warming up, coming up to the start line. He's going up against Chris Jager in his JZX 100. Now Chris, if you recall, he has entered rounds, so there's Chris on the start line, all the way from South Australia. Formerly a sponsored driver in Australia a long time ago in the Australian series, over here trying his luck in the Japan series. He's had very bad luck. A lot of mechanical issues, a big crash, breaking some ribs. He's out here today. Let's see how he does. Hopefully he does really well. Chris Jager versus Tomogawa in the very powerful Supra. Chris, good lead run so far. Nice clean run, throwing it really hard into the outer zone, but Tomogawa right there with him. Tomogawa really adjusting his line. Look at this chase run from Tomogawa. Wow, what a chase run. Right up against the door of the Jager.
Well, what we saw from Jager yesterday was the ability to go out and basically tick all the boxes as a qualifying driver. He does pretty much that here in his lead run. You can see very smooth initiation right into that first outer zone, tight on that inside clip. But look at Tomogawa in the chase position. He's really putting the pressure on. He's trying to match the line here, but he comes up on the inside a little bit short here. There's not a lot of room, but you got to love the aggression and the proximity there by Tomogawa. So now what Tomogawa needs to do is do a similar or better lead run than Jager, and Jager has to keep the pressure on Tomogawa in order to force a win or one more time.
Yeah, that was a very spicy chase run there from Tomogawa, utilizing the power of that 2JZ powered Supra very effectively. But watch this chase run from Chris. He's a surgeon, this guy. Right up against Tomogawa's rear bumper, but Tomogawa pulling ahead slightly. Chris Jager hard on the brakes, stalling up Chris. Getting pulled away from Tomogawa. Chris Jager losing his momentum. Tomogawa pulling away from Chris Jager.
Well, it may not have been a better run in the lead position by Tomogawa as compared to Jager, but Jager made a very sloppy mistake. Yeah. And you can see he's not really holding the proximity here. This is not as clean of a lead run as a Jager's, but right there, I think if you're judging the overall, it's a big mistake for Jager in the chase position and potentially putting his competition life at risk here. Let's take a look at it from another angle. You can see it first starts here. Jager now trying to tighten up his line to chase him down, but as we come out of outside zone number 2, He loses some ground, and Tomogawa is off to the races here. Goes a little bit long on that last inside clip with the momentum that he's building. And we'll have to see how the judges take both those runs into account. It may not fare well for the Jager.
Yeah, I don't think it's looking too good for Chris right now. Just that going into the outer zone at the top of the course, Chris stab of the brakes to extend the car out towards Tomogawa, but Tomogawa just zipping away from him. Just Chris's timing a little bit off there. On the other hand, though, this is some of the best driving we've seen from Tomogawa all weekend. It was a bit sloppy in practice and qualifying yesterday. Didn't seem to, the car, that Supra, very high-powered car, seems to be balanced more towards the side of being overpowered, less controllable. But it looks like he's got the hang of it. So we have a one more time from one. One in favor. So his last chance for Chris is a one more time. Slide it left or right.
Wow.
One more time. Wow! Chris de Jager, very lucky, I'd have to say, from that run.
Pretty much the lead run is what saved him. You know,
yeah.
It was a near flawless lead run, and that's probably what forced the one more time.
Just getting some word from Ryan Lantane, our judge. Ryan Lantane, our judge, to see what the reason for the one more time is. Brian Sage, would you like to say what you heard?
Yeah, I was just confirming what at least the judges that went one more time. Basically, yeah, it was pretty much what we thought. De Jager clearly won the lead. Tomogawa clearly won the chase. And that pretty much is the definition of a one more time. So a lot of times when you have a big mistake like that, it can go to the overall.
Right.
But in this case, it was a one more time for 2 out of the 3 judges.
There you go. Next battle now, Minoue versus Nozawa. Shinji Minoue currently sitting in second place in the championship in this GTR-powered Fairlady. There's no VQs here. This is a GTR engine using that power and lightweight body to pull away from Nozawa. Nozawa nowhere to be seen. Wow, great lead run there. That car is, when it's used right, it's untouchable.
Well, Minoue gets a great jump out of the gate here. Rolls into this initiation, flawless right there in that first outer zone. Nozawa trying to play catch up here. I love the way he fills that second outer zone. He starts early, keeps that left rear bumper or the left rear wheel right on the line without hitting any of those clips. And then tight on that final inside clip. So again, a solid lead run, and that's the best way to get your campaign started, is make it very difficult for that chase driver when he goes to the lead position to match your near perfect qualifying run.
Yeah, that was a great lead run. Of course, Nozawa, also a very aggressive driver. So not able to pull it off in that run, but we do have a lead. He's in the lead here. Really struggling to get that power down. Look at Shinji. Great entry from Shinji. Big angle from Nozawa in the lead. Watch the switch back here. We'll see what strategy Minoue takes. Very, very slow there from the Lika. Nozawa almost stopping on the top part of the track, giving Shinji a chance to catch up. Shinji needs to keep the wheels spinning over the finish line. There you go. Wow. Chase run. Wow, there were so many times there where Shinji could have potentially stopped or lost his drift. Didn't do it, kept it going. Let's watch the replay.
Well, it's a great job. Shows some composure. Look at his positioning here. He tucks up right behind Nozawa, anticipates where he's going to go, locks in on that left rear door, or that left door rather,
right
and
here.
then stays tight here. He could have straightened out there, but he keeps some angle in the car, makes some adjustments with the slowdown there from Nozawa, and then right here just keeping the pressure on through that final turn. And you have to imagine with that lead run that it's not a difficult decision for the judges.
Yes, you to the Nozawa on the left of the screen, the black JZX chassis. Right of screen, Shinji in the Fairlady. 1, 2, 3 in favor of Shinji Minoue. Now this is interesting because Shinji Minoue and Andrew Gray are on opposite sides of the battle tree. So we could potentially see the current 1 and 2 point holder in the championship come up against each other in the finals. And that would be pretty cool to see. So great result there. Inoue moving on to the top 16. So our battle's still to go. We're going to be seeing that second run between Miyoshi and Iizuka after that collision later on. Also, we have a one more time between the Jager and Tomogawa in the orange JZX and in the Supra. But before that, we have our next battle now. Masuyama in the, that's almost like the Dinoco color from Cars. You seen that movie? Remember in Cars movie, the Dinoco?
I haven't watched that yet.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Well, not even the first one?
Uh-uh.
You're kidding. It's actually really good. So Masuyama in the S15, Iha in the semi-ripe banana.
Oh no!
Oh, big understeer.
Oh.
Iha just barely missing the collision there. Masuyama. Wow, big mistake there from Masuyama. Iha just completing his run. Could that be some sort of mechanical issues for Masuyama there? You can see him just pulling around.
It's a tough break here for Masuyama, who, as our third qualification driver.
Oh, he's got it snapped. Yeah, he's broken a tie rod.
Yeah, so this is going to be a competition timeout for sure. Let's take a look here and see if we can see. We know right about when it snaps. Let's see if we can get some sort of visual on it.
Let's watch the left-hand side of the screen there.
Here's the initiation, right?
Okay.
There, and then boom.
Oh, so what happened there?
Well, I think you can see it.
Maybe it can't. No, wait, it's fine now. There it's snapped.
Yeah. It was snapped, but it might have been just in position. The way
just tracking. Yeah, I think you're right. You can hear him going all the way back to his pits with that dragging wheel. Tie rod in 5 minutes. It's possible. It's very possible if they have the parts available to them. You see, the thing about this is Masuyama has had trouble at every single round of Formula Drift Japan so far. And I was talking with his manager, who is that him on the screen there? It's one of the guys on the screen here. I was talking to his manager yesterday, and he said, round one, we had engine blow. Round two, we had the clutch. Round three, we had it was the gearbox or the drivetrain or something like that. But so far, this weekend, we haven't had any trouble. So we're just waiting, he was waiting for the shoe to drop to see what broke, and it was the tie rod.
Well, vehicle reliability always is a factor in the competition for a lot of drivers, and it ends up being a game killer at the end of the day. Yeah. And unfortunately for Masuyama, he'll be sitting on an incomplete, and it's definitely a sad way to start his competition in the top 32, especially considering that he was our third place qualifier and was looking really, really great this weekend.
Yeah, he was looking good. Also, young guy, just graduated from university. He was the winner of last year's Gakudori competition, which is basically a competition only open to people in either university or technical colleges, of which obviously there are a lot in Japan for motorsport. Sorry, not motorsport. For the motor industry, for the auto industry. It's one of the biggest industries in Japan, one of the biggest sectors of their economy. So as a result, there are a lot of technical colleges in Japan. And obviously, if you're going to those sorts of schools, you're probably into cars. So they have a competition open once a year to everybody who's in higher education. And he actually won it last year.
That's great.
So that's pretty cool. But unfortunately, a broken tie rod. You can see Kevin Wells, our technical director, is down there making sure that he can get back out on the track. Of course, 5-minute rule needs to be called on that car. 5 minutes to change a tie rod is not impossible by any means. Masuyama has a big team there. So Ihad waiting down there on the start line in his unripe banana car. It's got that yellow-green fade on it. So Ihad doing a U-turn, probably going to head down to the burnout box. Or we're going to be running another battle. This is almost like those scenes, you know, in those like driving video games where you have, you know, all the, like there's always the balloons. Like remember the old Sega video games? There'd always be balloons like in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. It's over there. It's Japan. What do you want? Yeah, look, literally, it's like, look, blue skies, wispy clouds, and balloons. Like it's like a sea. It's like Outrun. You know?
I love it.
Yeah. Great weather here today. Okuibuki. Okuibuki. So Oku means like outer. So it's outer Ibuki. And it is fairly outer. It's about a 35-minute drive from the nearest town.
So we're about what, like 2 hours from Nagoya and what, 5 hours from Tokyo?
It's about 2 hours from Nagoya, about an hour and a half from Nagoya, and about 6 hours. Yeah, I don't know. 2 hours from Nagoya, 6 hours from Tokyo, by car. If you came down here by Shinkansen, it would be a lot faster. But the problem with that is that you need to get here from the Shinkansen station. So, right, the Shinkansen, as in bullet train. That's what I'm thinking. It's like remember Daytona, USA.
Yes.
Remember Daytona, USA? Oh, I remember.
Seen that? South Park, you keeping up?
No.
You've been, I know how busy, Ryan, I know how busy you've been, so you've probably not been keeping up.
I don't really watch South Park that much. I don't watch Rick and Morty. I need to get into all these things, but...
Yeah. All right, next run now. Hayato Miyoshi doing a solo run. So Iizuka, who caused that collision in the run before, retiring. Is that your knuckles cracking there?
Like
wow.
that. They were loud enough that they were audible.
That was loud. So from our battle between Miyoshi and Iizuka, so Iizuka was in that S15, the little collision we saw there on the first corner. Miyoshi in the R34, moving on to the top 16, going up against Yanagita in the bright green S13 Silvia. So Miyoshi, good result for him. Not having a whole lot of luck this year in the series. Remember getting crashing out in practice in the Suzuka round. Yeah, you need to watch all those to keep up with all the memes.
They are definitely meme generators.
They are indeed. Pickle Rick. But yeah, Ryan is, ladies and gentlemen, he's a very busy guy. He doesn't have time for that sort of thing. He's running drift series all around the world. Okay, one more time. Jager versus Tomogawa. So once again, Tomogawa very aggressive in the chase run. Now this is where Tomogawa did really well in his chase run. And he's doing it again right up against the door of Jager. Now Tomogawa needs to pull back a little bit here and accelerate. There he goes, he did it. Wow, this is a battle.
A near replica of run number one. Both drivers showing some very high marks here. Let's take a look at this one more time. As you can see Jager getting out of the gate, but Tomogawa not letting him get away. Again, Jager, great initiation, fills that first outer zone, but Tomogawa keeping the pressure on, dives in right here on this second outer zone, but you can see how deep Jager is. I think Tomogawa actually did that section a little bit better. He looked more in line with Jager than in run number one. So Jager, while he had a solid lead run, Tomogawa kept the pressure on. And we're just hearing here that Masuyama is out of competition.
Really? Okay. All of a sudden, Byron must have heard us, and he got on a Shinkansen. He came here quickly. So that's Masuyama knocked out. So Iha will be moving through. All right, second run now. This is Jager's last chance. Tomogawa on fire. Look at this speed of the leaker Tomogawa. Throwing it a bit too hard. The Jager spinning out. Now, how is this going to be judged, Ryan?
It's all going to be about how much of the spin of the Jager was attributed or attributable to Tomogawa. Tomogawa clearly went into that first corner very strong, very hot, and made a mistake there. Did the Jager pull out of that because he thought he was going to make contact? Let's take a look at it again here.
Let's watch this again.
So Tomogawa very fast, kind of a slow initiation, big angle in the car. Almost looks like he is going to spin there.
Yeah.
And then you can see that the Jager forces himself into a spin. That's a tough call because you really don't want to force yourself to spin, even though, prudently speaking, if you think you're going to hit the vehicle, you are smart not to damage your vehicle. But now he's left it into the judge's hands, and I can see lots of hand waving going on up here, which means the judges are asking for replays and also having a discussion about what took place.
The thing is, like, look at Tomogawa's lead run. It is really it is so fast right here, out of zone, really, really deep, right there. Like, that is really deep. And if I was in the chase run there, I would probably think he was going to spin out. Like, by you know.
Yeah, he was full lock and heading way outside towards the rocks. And, and here it is from this angle. You can see he's got.
There you go.
He actually pulls angle out of the car. So, you know, I think if you're being conservative, you give the Jager the benefit of the doubt. But intuitively, I think people will see that the Jager pulled himself into that spin and maybe not want him to get the benefit of the doubt here.
That's a hard call to make. Like, let's watch this again. Remember, this is a very narrow uphill with a big granite wall there.
Full lock right here, and then
he went right up towards the wall. He really did. And from Chris's point of view, remember, the chase car's position, if they're like a car length or 2 car lengths back, they're about like at least half a meter or like a couple of feet down compared to the car in front.
Right.
And you can't really see how close they are to the wall. And another thing to think about too is, I mean, we can see the black marks from up here, right? Look at the marks from where Tomogawa, the rear of his car, went round. It's a straight line from where he spun out to, well, I don't want to say spin out, but where he angled out towards the wall, and he drove towards the inner clip. So it's sort of a case of, like, if Tomogawa didn't have the power he had, he wouldn't have been able to recover that. I mean, he did a great job using the power he has, which of course is a skill of drifting, is utilizing your car to its abilities. But
I just talked to one judge. He said, you know, in a situation like that, and he's only speaking for himself. He said, in a situation like that, if it is very difficult to tell who exactly was at fault, I have the right to give both drivers fault there,
right?
Where they can both share equal responsibility.
We can do that.
And then if that's the case, then we can revert back to the previous run. So that would still be the same result, because if you give fault to Tomogawa, then the Jager wins. If you go back to the previous run, then you have to basically measure who you thought did better in that particular run, the Jager or Tomogawa. So here we get something coming in right now.
So we do have a result here. Ryan Lantane. So 2 in favor of Tomogawa in the Supra. So Chris the Jager, 1 judge in favor of one more time. But unfortunately for Chris, Tomogawa getting the win. Wow, it's a bit of a knock to Chris the Jager.
Yeah, not what I was expecting. I was more expecting either Chris or one more time. But
to be honest, that result is pretty much exactly what I would have thought. I mean, you know, we are saying, you know, Tomogawa, he did look like he spun out, but he didn't. He didn't spin out. It looked like he was going to hit the wall.
True.
He didn't hit the wall. He did manage to keep his tires spinning. He didn't reinitiate. It was like one of these situations where you get these ridiculous back entries and you get people driving out of them.
Right.
Like, it's not the sort of thing that we want or encourage in competition.
It almost would have been better if Chris hit him.
Hate to say it, but you're right. So here we have a solo run for Tetsuya Iha. Unfortunately, Masuyama retiring. So the unripe banana of Iha, the big Crown, the Toyota Crown sedan. Big luxury sedan, these. This is sort of the Japanese, I mean, obviously they do sell the Lexus range here in Japan, the LS series. But this is sort of the JDM version of that, the Crown, the big luxury sedan. Big car, big 2JZ powered car. So unfortunately for Chris, yeah, we wouldn't want to say that it would be better if we had an accident there. But, it would have been. But even then, it still could have gone in Tomogawa's favor because he would have been hit by Chris. So,
yeah. But you could have said, well, if Chris was in angle, moving forward at the right rate, and Tomogawa was slowing down and almost spinning out, then you could have given fault to Tomogawa. I mean, these are all hypotheticals at this point, but
then again, we had that battle just before where we had the collision, and the chase car was at fault there, even though the lead car was actually...
I think that was a little bit more apparent, though. You could certainly see that he was increasing the rate of speed.
There you go. So, interesting result there. Unfortunately, it's not always 100% clean in drifting, but that's sort of the way it is. But it is a fair result for Chris, unfortunately for him. Moving on to our next battle now. Here we go. This is going to be a good one. Sheng from Singapore versus Yoshinori Shinozaki from Japan. Now Nian improving consistently over the year. He had a big crash here last year. Very deep into the outer zone. This is a good battle so far. Shinozaki right there with him. And a spin from Shinozaki. Throwing it too hard into the outer zone. Sheng completing the run. Oh, that was looking really good up until that point. It's a shame for Shinozaki.
Well, Nian, he comes out of the gate blasting, and Shinozaki sees it. He gets on the throttle, keeps with him. He's pacing him down, up the front straight, rather. Nice initiation here by Sheng. Fills that first outer zone. Great job, Shinozaki, keeping pace here. Pressing the action here, but as he transitions back around, he snaps it, not able to hold the angle, and just comes unbound. We saw that last year in the U.S. Series with Matt Field a couple times, and that was a setup issue. I have to wonder if Shinozaki is experiencing the same thing, but nonetheless, a big advantage here for Sheng Nian.
Yeah, with that spin there. Yeah, rear damper setup seems to be very important on this particular track, and also utilizing the weight balance of your car, getting your transitions right. Of course, on that part of the track, you're on hard accelerator then. Okay, we have a false start there. Not a false start, what do you call it?
A restart?
A restart, there you go. I'm gonna get these guys to turn around. Restarts are caused by collision with the start line cones. Of course, we do run the chicane entry style layout here like we do in the United States. What that is in order to do is slow the lead car down a bit. The lead car has to go through a slight chicane, and the chase car can also do two things: jump the start and also drive in a straight line, which means it sort of hobbles the lead car a bit to prevent drag races on the start. And if the lead car tags one of the cones or knocks one over, it pushes it out of position. That results in a restart. 3 strikes and you're out, which actually happened last year at Okuibuki. All right, next run now. Shinozaki versus Nian. This time Shinozaki leading. Big spin. So Nian, all Nian has to do is keep it clean, and he's going to take this out. But much better run this time from Shinozaki. Nian right there with him. This looks like a locked-on result for Nian. So nice lead run from Shinozaki, but unfortunately I think that Nian's going to take this out due to that spin on the first run from Shinozaki. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, it's a strong performance here from Sheng, and Shinozaki with that big mistake in run number 1. Really, really tough, big hill to climb here, hoping for Sheng to make a mistake, but Sheng doesn't do that. He stays pretty aggressive, but within the lines here, doesn't get too crazy, keeps pace, Shinozaki a solid lead out front, but like you said, it's pretty much all she wrote here as Shinozaki crosses the finish line with Sheng making no major mistakes.
Putting a close on this result here. Sheng Nian, 1, 2, 3 in favor of Sheng Nian from Singapore. Yoshinori Shinozaki getting knocked out, unfortunately for him. If you don't follow Sheng Nian's Instagram, I highly recommend it. It's at Chicken Diarrhea, believe it or not. It's quite funny. Sheng involved in, I believe the shipping industry in Singapore. And he's, you should see what his dad's doing in his garage. It's very cool. All right, Mad Mike hype. Here comes the quad rotor versus Hisano. Mad Mike very deep into the outer zone. Hisano there, right with him. Flicks it back. Hisano's chance to catch up. Hisano not really getting all that close. Mad Mike pulling away over the finish line. Nice solid lead run there for Mad Mike with Det.
One of the
in
best
quad rotor.
outer zone twos that we've seen from a competitor. Yeah, very, very early into that outer zone two. Great job by Mad Mike, certainly building his campaign here with a good start. You can see just threads the needle through outside zone number one.
Yeah.
Usano trying to make pace here. Look at this, how early he gets into that zone, really almost scraping the wall there, not knocking over any cones. Incredible lead run from Mike. Usano having trouble here on the second part of this course. Down the hill now as they cross the finish line. So Mad Mike, a tough act to follow here.
Yeah, Mike's car and driving just a notch above Usano, it seems. So this is Hisano's chance to do a good lead run. Not really all that effective in his chase run. Here they come again. Quad rotor, twin turbo. Rotary in the chase. Wow, look at the entry there from Usano. Smashing into the wall, big collision there. Mad Mike's driver door colliding with the rear of Hisano's S15. He should be okay. That wasn't a very high-speed collision, but the worst place to hit for Mad Mike. Directly on the driver's door into the rear of Hisano's S15. Hisano just throwing it a bit too hard, getting a bit too aggressive. I just snapped my pen.
You got overly excited.
I got overly excited and snapped the thing. Okay, let's watch the replay.
You could kind of see this starting to manifest here.
Yeah, right here.
The initiation was aggressive, the speed was fast, and then Mad Mike has nowhere to go here.
That hurts.
Usano was basically in a really tough position here. He made that mistake. He went into the rock wall, but then he got stuck there, and Mad Mike could not maneuver around him. It doesn't look like Mike's car sustained too much damage, but he's pinned right now. In the wall is Usano, and then Mad Mike is just right up against the bumper.
The thing about it, too, is Hisano's car hit the wall, bounced back slightly, and then Mike hit him again, and then sort of sandwiched him up against the wall. Ow. Wow, that would result in a sore neck. Let's watch this again. But also, Mike also going very deep, though. So Mad Mike not 100% innocent in this situation.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to be doing what the lead car is doing, so if Usano led him off course, I think that they will give fault to Usano.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah, you can see here that Mike was obviously wanting to keep pace with them. He knows what he has to do as a chase driver, what responsibilities that he has.
So a bit of excitement there. Hope Mike's all right. That was a bit of a hit there. The car came to a stop very quickly at 90 degrees. All right, so we are going to go to a quick commercial break as we clear the track. We'll be back very shortly. All right, we're back here at Okuibuki Motor Park for the 2017 series of Formula Drift. We are at the end of our top 32 battles here. Now, just before the commercial break, we had a big accident between Wedette and Hisano. As you can see, the track's been cleared off. We've heard everyone's okay. Might be a bit of a sore neck. Now let's watch the replay if you missed it. Lead car, Usano, throws it in big. He knows he's up against Mad Mike. Hits the wall. Mad Mike, not one to back off. Stays with him. Unfortunately, Usano hitting the wall, spinning out, and Mike smashing into the rear of Hisano's car, right on the on the driver's side door. And as a result, we do have a result from that battle. Of course, 1, 2, 3 in favor of Mad Mike Widette, the quad rotor twin turbo. Rotary hype moving on to the top 16. So there you go, we have a result from that battle. And there's Mike's car. It probably didn't sustain too much damage, hopefully. It was a direct hit on the driver's side door. Hopefully it hasn't got a bent sill or anything like that. Of course, all these cars, from the drift safety regulations, very extensive cages. Should have protected Mike from any injury. All right, this is our last battle of the top 32. We have Inoue versus Fukata. Here we go, let's go with the last battle of the top 32. See who's going to make it to the top 16. Inoue in the lead. Fukata chase. Fukata a long way back. But catching up to the in clip and the outer zone. Inoue running really wide. Dropping off the edge of the track. Giving Fukata a good chance to catch up. Fukata right there with him over the finish line. Now, Ryan, what was that lead run there from Inoue, that outer zone 2?
Yeah, went a bit too wide there. We haven't seen much of that this weekend, even in qualifying. Let's take a look at this here again. Both drivers get out of the gate pretty cleanly here. You can see a little bit of a gap there with Inoue out front. Big e-brake pull, gets back on it there to fill the zone. Fukata on that inside line. Now let's see, he just pushes a little bit too hard here. Yeah, he nearly taps the wall. Yeah. Goes off the zone a little bit. And Fukata there on the inside takes advantage of it for a second. Is able to close the door, but then Inoue once again puts down the throttle and pulls a little bit of a gap there. So some mistakes from both drivers. We'll switch things up now. Fukata goes to the lead position, and Inoue goes to the chase.
So yeah, that's not going to be a course out for Inoue, is it?
Well, I mean, it's not going to be an incomplete.
Okay. So no penalty there for running off for Inoue. This time Fukata. JZX100 in the lead. Inoue S15 Sylvia following. Nice entry from both these guys. Nice and clean entry. So the battle is going to be decided right here. Inoue needs to catch up with Fukata. Fukata, nice clean lead run so far. Good, clean, consistent run in the lead there, but Inoue right there with Fukata. Clean run from both these guys.
Yeah, very competitive battle here. Our final one in the top 32. Fukata in the lead position. Our 22nd qualifier. Inoue, number 11. You can see Inoue keeping pace with them here. Fukata e-brake pull, back on the throttle, pulls out of that first outer zone a little bit early, wraps around this turn, hits that inside clip. Inoue chasing him down here. Fukata doesn't fill that second outer zone until about halfway through. Reaches out to this third outer zone. Inoue is keeping about a car's distance gap right here as they come into this final turn. So very competitive battle. Inoue in the lead position, going off course with two wheels in the second outer zone, nearly making contact with the wall. And now it's all up to the judges.
Yeah, both those runs, not exactly a sort of a bare-knuckle face-to-face fight. They were sort of keeping each other at a nice, clean, consistent distance. It was more like fencing rather than a fist fight. But what's that? It was sort of, don't you think so?
A water dancing?
What? Huh? Water dancing? What's that?
That's another name for fencing.
Why is that?
Because they're light on their feet so they can walk on water. It's really from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I was going to say, is that a Game of Thrones thing?
Yeah.
What's the girl's name?
Arya?
That's the one. Who does all that fancy, yeah. What does the guy, what's his name say? That's, actually we can't really say that, what he says on this live stream. It's a bit rude. the brother of the mountain. What's his name? The guy with the scar on his face.
Oh, the dog?
Is that the dog? Yeah, I quite like that character. So 2 one more times for that battle, and 1 in favor of Tadahiro Fukata. Fukata being in the grey-blue JZX100 Mark II. So we have 2 one more times. So I think the judges would like to see them fight a bit more like the dog and not like, what's her name?
Arya?
Yeah.
But Arya's a really good fighter.
But she gets the job done, though, doesn't she?
On Lady Brienne.
That's the one. I haven't that's my problem. I haven't seen much of Game of Thrones. I've seen all the meme ones, but not the one that I think there's plenty of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is the one show that I've gone super deep in.
Right.
Super deep, like the mythology and the backstory and all the inside stuff and trying to sneak photos from sets. Like, I'm into all that. So I get deep.
Yeah, being here in Japan, I don't even think they show it even on cable. Like, I don't have cable here, so.
Oh, so how do you watch it? Oh, you get that new HBO service.
Army hearty. There's ways. What did what's his name saying in Jurassic Park? Life finds a way.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we've got to be careful not to give away any spoilers.
No, there's no. I wouldn't do that.
People will get very upset about that.
Very mad.
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched, well, I have a limit to that though. If you haven't watched season 1, season 2, season 3 by now, then you can't.
You know what? What do you think? Have you ever seen the movie? Okay, let's talk about that later. Next battle. This is one more time. Let's see these guys pull off the gloves and go bare knuckle now. Inoue versus Fukata. Oh, so this is the replay. Oh, sorry, I was wondering, huh? Why can't I hear the cars? And I looked up to actually watch the cars, and I couldn't see them.
You missed that little thing right there?
I did. Well, because we can't hear the cars when they start, and we can't see them until they're about halfway up the hill.
Right.
All right, anyway, so this is the replay. So, yeah, that run there from Inoue, he would have won these runs, I think, if he hadn't have made that big mistake in outer zone 2. And here comes the second run now, this time Fukata leading. So really, really clean run here for Fukata. This is Fukata's style. He's he's not really out there, but just very consistent all the time. Be good if he was sort of more on the aggressive side of consistency. He's not really off that outer zone there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both of these guys making big mistakes on that outer zone. Like, have you ever seen the movie The Game with Michael Douglas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A good movie.
Do you think that's beyond statute of limitations for giving away the ending?
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's probably in the 90s, right? That's
that was
early
the
2000s. Yeah, that's you missed out.
All right. So if you haven't seen The Game with Michael Douglas, it's a game. So I think it's beyond statute of limitations too. But I don't know. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Even though I just sort of gave it away, but it's a good movie.
But I mean, yeah, even though you gave away what it was, I think the movie is very deep, and even if you think you know what you just said actually means, you'll still enjoy the movie.
Remember the scene when his brother comes in and he says it's just a game, and they keep playing it and playing it. So I didn't really give it away. I gave it half away. Yeah, The Game by Michael Douglas, good movie. So we have there, that is the car of Fukata, getting some water spray there on the radiator and oil cooler. Yeah, lots of guys here this weekend with big lenses. Even though they are all fairly close to the action. Did you see those guys as we were driving in? Actually, you're staying up here, aren't you? On the way up here from town this morning, it's like a lovely mountain road through a valley. There must be some sort of very rare bird, because at one part of the road there's like 3 or 4 guys with their you know, $14,000, $15,000
binoculars.
Yeah, well, no, Nikon or like Canon lenses set up, you know, with the camouflage wraps and everything, sort of waiting for something to emerge.
Their magic bird.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Must be a, I don't know, a shiny Pokemon or something. All right. Here we go. Doing some circle work down the bottom there. Fukata getting his tyres warmed up for the final battle of the top 32. So if you've only just joined us now, where have you been? We're at the last battle of the top 32. We'll be having a bit of a break between the top 32 and the top 16. The top 16 to the to the finals will be run in about 3 hours from now. So you'll have a bit of a break between the two tiers of battle. So here we go. First one more time between Inoue and Fukata. So both these drivers, very clean runs between them. But Fukata making a mistake, running really shallow in the outer zone. Inoue running really wide on the outer zone. So it seems to be a very evenly matched battle between these two. Fukata, nice entry from him. Nice and deep into the outer zone. Fukata, he usually manages to catch up with him right about here. So this time, Inoue, great lead run from Inoue. Fills that outer zone. Fukata needs to pull it out here if he's going to win this battle. I'd say that Fukata maybe not doing enough in that run there.
Well, Inoue definitely made some improvements here on the second battle. He was much stronger in that second outer zone. And overall, I think he was able to take some learning experience away from that first battle here and try to improve. A little bit of an interesting initiation, gets a big e-brake pull there, but then is able to fill the zone. Fukata, a little bit less angle there through inside clip number one. Now, this is where he went off course. This time he does it much better. Yeah. Just taps that last little section there, but through that third outer zone and a nice line here. A little bit long, though, through that final inside clip, but Fukata was having trouble kind of maintaining the pace there. So now you've seen the lead run from Inoue and the chase run from Fukata. Let's change it up. Fukata goes to the lead. Inoue goes to the chase.
Yeah, Fukata just really needs to get a bit deeper into there, a bit more aggressive with his car. He's going to win this battle, but this time he's leading. He really has to do a better run than Inoue on the lead run. All right, good entry from both these guys so far. Clean run. Now Fukata, he needs to nail this part of the track. There you go, outer zone. There you go. Whoa, almost coming to a standstill. The chase car, Inoue. This is going to be an interesting result. So Fukata, he managed to get into that outer zone, but what happened there with Inoue?
I'm not sure why he took that inside line. He was seeming to maintain pace. He didn't really need to do that in order to gain proximity. At the same time, Fukata was holding big angle through the latter section of outer zone 2. Let's see this section right here. Fukata initiates back around, transitions back around on the inside. I want to see that from that other shot, but Inoue basically was cutting the line, taking that inside section. He got choked up there and couldn't make it all the way around. So definitely a mistake from Inoue on his line choice. And we finished up both runs now, and we'll see how this goes.
Could this be potentially another one more time? But I think we're probably going to get a result from this battle, if not a split decision. So yeah, that was a kind of an odd line to take from Inoue. We haven't seen many people take that line successfully. Of course, Inoue seems to have a bit of a power and grip advantage over Fukata, so there was no reason for him to try and shallow up that much. So I think we're about to get a result. Here we go, result. Fukata left in the Mark II, Inoue on the right. So over a 1, 2, and 3 in favor of Inoue. So Fukata in the JZX100 losing that battle, unfortunately for him. He just needed to be a bit more aggressive. So Inoue I think we should probably try and find out why that was okay. We'll see. Ryan Sage, what did the judges have to say about Inoue?
Yeah, basically, it sounds like Hitomi was making a mistake on the inside, but Fukata left that zone super early and pinched him off, so he really had no choice. So there was mistakes on both sides.
Right.
But because Inoue had the better lead run there, he's ultimately going to get the win.
Yeah, I think overall, because remember, it's not just a one battle. Yeah, remember this, everyone, when you're watching drifting. Don't focus on one part of one battle and say that some guy should have won. It's 2 entire battles that gets you the win. So unfortunately, Fukata getting knocked out in the top 32. Inoue moving on to the top 16. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the top 32 here for round 4 of Formula Drift Japan at Okuibuki Motor Park. It's a lovely day here. The time in Japan right now is 11 o'clock in the morning, and the top 16 tournament will be running from 2 o'clock. So that's 3 hours from now. So if you're watching the live stream, get out your phone, set your timer for 3 hours, and join us then for the top 16 all the way through to the finals. Really looking forward to seeing you. It's a great day out here. We're having fun up here doing this commentary. As you can see there, it looks like the background of a Daytona USA game here with the lovely blue sky and the mountains and the cars going sideways in the balloon. We're going to cut to a shot of us. As you can see here, the layout at Okuibuki. Right, here we go. Hello, this is Alexi Smith. I'm here with Ryan Sage from the United States. We are your commentators for today's competition. We will be back in 3 hours from now at 2 o'clock Japan time. The time here is 11 o'clock, so 11, 12, 1, 2. 3 hours from now, we'll be back with the top 16 tournament battle all the way through to the final. Ryan.
Yes?
Final words?
No, just looking forward to a great top 16, and we've got a pretty good group of drivers matched up, so let's get it underway.
Yeah, so our current champion, Andrew Gray, our current points leader, Andrew Gray, on one side of the battle tree, and second place, Shinji Minoa on the other side of the battle tree. Are we going to see a battle for the lead of the championship here today? We'll wait and see. Back in 3 hours from now. We'll see you then. Stay with us. See you then.